there, it is Jo from Minerva, and today I'm here with a little learn to sew tutorial or an interaction video, just in case you have been wondering how to pad out your dress form or change your dress form to fit your measurements. If you don't have an adjustable dress form, then you might have a shop mannequin, a standard mannequin that doesn't have any dials or changes, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's your size. So today we're going to look at a few methods for padding out your dress form, and I don't have one answer for everybody because everybody's body shape is different. I hope today you'll take away a few of the sort of techniques and the things that I'm using, because all of those will help you to make your dress form your size. My mannequin is made out of polystyrene. It's a pretty cheap one that I bought when I first started sewing, and I used to use it really for hanging things on and draping things or keeping things flat and hanging well overnight until I came back to next sewing at it. It's got a little sleeve over the top, which I'm going to remove because I'm going to put this back on afterwards when I've made my alterations to the shape. At the moment, the mannequin isn't set to my height, so I wouldn't be using this for myself because I wouldn't be getting the length right on anything, but I just needed to raise it up into the frame so that you can see both the top of my head and the whole length of the mannequin. So this mannequin is made of polystyrene. Some things can be added to, and because it's polystyrene, then some things can be taken away. The first thing I'm going to do is to take a full set of my measurements. I might need more measurements than usual, but first of all I'm going to start with my shoulder length, bust, waist and hips. Once you've taken your measurements, you can then start to compare them to the measurements on the mannequin. Some bits might be close and some bits might be a little bit far away. If your bust measurements are close, then this is where you can pad out the shape that you've got. Or if you've got a different discrepancy between your bust measurement and the measurement of your mannequin, then you could at this point put a bra on top of here, an old bra that you don't use anymore or one that's sort of fading a little bit. You can put that bra onto the mannequin, and then you can stuff the bra with toy wadding, fabric scraps, old tights, just something soft that mimics your bust size, but that will give you a faster gradient here at the front than just adding small layers. I haven't got so much difference, so I'm going to keep what I've got, and I'm just going to pad out this bust area. I've got some bits of quilt wadding left over from a previous project, and I've been saving them especially for this. And I'm going to add these over the bust area, and you don't want them too big, otherwise you'll create lots of extra wrinkles where you don't want them. If you go across, you want to make sure that you're still getting your gap in the middle. And I'm going to attach mine with small dressmaking pins. If you can't put dressmaking pins into your mannequin because it's not something like polystyrene, then you can use a parcel tape, a masking tape, a gaffer tape, all of those. You can just keep adding layers and layers. It's just easy with pins to be able to move the pieces around. It doesn't take long if you're just doing a few centimetres to build up that extra thickness. Don't forget, you might want to be adding some of that to the back. This has got quite a hollow back, so I'm going to add a little bit around the back as well. That will also change my bust measurement. You can take an armpit to armpit measurement. That will help you to understand if you've got a broad back or where your measurement is coming from. Is it coming from the front or is your measurement coming from the back? If you don't have a bra to put on but you want to change the bust cups, then you can add pieces of wadding that are sort of bunched up, And you can also at this point start to think how this will interact with other parts of your body. So from shoulder to your bust apex, you want to be getting that as correct as you can. That's quite an important measurement there. That will determine some measurements about your arm size, your body length, where your bust apex is, where darts will come to. So you want to really try and get that as accurate as you can. Once you've got sort of pad like that, then you can put more layers over the top to smooth it out. I want to take a look at the underbust here. So I'm going to take an underbust measurement. I'm going to take out some of this polystyrene under my bust. If you've got a polystyrene mannequin, you can use a craft knife to take out any bits that you want to. So you can just cut into it and you can just keep cutting. I won't cut on the video because the noise is awful. So you can cut into it and gouge bits out. That means that you could move your underbust in, and so that would give you a better underbust measurement to match your own, because you can't just leave it where it is, otherwise that's not going to be the correct rib size measurement for when you want to make a fitted dress. So far I've got a layer of wadding on here, 2 bust cups and a little bit of wadding around the back just to move that out a little bit more. And although that looks strange now, when I put the cover back on the top, that will all smooth out. Let's take a look at the waist measurement. This is the one on me where my dress form is probably the most inaccurate. So my waist measurement is a long way off the waist measurement of here. So I'm going to need to pad that out quite a bit. I'm going to go for strips here so that I can wind strips around the waist. And I need to take my hip measurement because I might need to continue those strips going down to the hip. Not so much here on the hip. Whoops, make sure it's level. Not so much here on the hip, but enough for me to cut quite long strips and keep moving down and measuring and remeasuring. Just the same as where you found your shoulder to apex, you might also want to check your shoulder to waist. That's quite a crucial measurement on me because I'm really short in the body, so they don't normally meet at my waist. That's not too bad. So what I'm going to do is mark my waist on there. I'm going to remark that later when I show you how to put your measurement proportions on your form. You actually need this profile as well. So if you know you might need some here, which is where I'm going to start working now. So when I start working here, I do want the hips to be a bigger measurement, but I don't just want them to be wider this way. What's making my hip measurement a little bit bigger is I've got a little bit at the front and a little bit at the back. So I'm going to take a hip to hip measurement for front and back, and then I'll know whether I'm building at the front or I'm building at the back. So from my overall hip measurement, I found that I don't need so much at the front. I need more at the back. So for me, this bottom is too flat. So I'm going to go back to doing those scrunching pieces like I did on the front, where I can get more volume much quicker. Okay, that's it for the hips and waist and bust. And I've got this measurement here, but I also want to check this measurement here. So I want to see where my necklace is. So if I put a necklace on, see where that lands, and then measure to the point on my shoulder where I can feel my arm move. So it's that pivot point on the end. It's really crucial to quite a lot of fits of things. So if you want a puff sleeve and you want the puff sleeve to stand up, then if your shoulder length is too long, it will just drop off the end. If it's too short, it will pull under your arm. So you need to get your shoulder length correct. In my case, my mannequin is a little bit broad in the shoulders, so I need it to be 11 centimetres. So this is where I'm going to take out some of the mannequin. It's only a small bit, but it will make all the difference. And I can carry on sculpting that bit out there and blending it into the side. I can take an upper bust measurement as well to see if I need to make any changes here. If you're hollow here, you might want to take some of that out. If you've got one shoulder that dips down lower than another, you might want to make sure that they're the correct ones, that you've got them measured correctly. Or if your hips are unbalanced, so if you have one hip that is wider than another, then you can definitely do that. That's one of the advantages of padding out your own dress form, is if you have a slightly different body proportion, then you can mimic that with your shaping. Trying to put a different body proportion on an adjustable form doesn't always work if you have maybe a disability or you have a different body proportion on one side than another. When you change the wheel on a dress form, it will work symmetrically, whereas here you can have things different on one side to the other. Okay, if there's any other changes you'd like to make, now is the time to do it. So you might want to maybe build up the shoulders if you've got rounded shoulders. If you've got a broader back, you might want to add something there. If you've got a sway back or it's quite hollow at the back, then you might want to make sure that you've got all of the features that your body displays when you make your own patterns. When you think you're happy with your measurements, it's time then to put the cover over the top so that we can see it as one single skin rather than all of the little bits. If you think you might want to add to this, so for example, if you're pregnant and this is your normal body size, but then you want to start growing your bump on here, then what you could do at this point is you can wrap your mannequin in cling film so that you can save your body proportions and shape for when you want to take the bump shape away. So you could wrap this in cling film, and then on top of the cling film you could start your new shape. And then as your bump grows, you can add more and more layers, and then afterwards you can take some layers away. You might not go back to your original size, so you might gradually start taking layers away. But if you stick all of a pregnancy bump on top of all of this, then as you want to take it away, you might start to disturb all of the work that you've already done. I urge you to be careful here, because as you're pulling this down, you might disturb some of your pieces. And also remember, I've used pins, so I need to be careful that I'm not going to be catching any of the pins. So it's a good idea just to roll it down bit by bit, a bit like putting on a wetsuit. If you've got an old family mannequin or a vintage one or a second-hand one that you picked up from somewhere and it doesn't have that second skin on it, then you might need to make one of those yourself, just to make it easier for taking things on and off the mannequin. If you haven't got a skin over the top, every time you pull something off it, you'll disturb all of the components that you've already put on there. The best fabric for this is an ITY jersey because it's quite soft and slinky, so when you've got it on you can easily put other garments on top and take them off. Or you can try a viscose jersey because that's got a really good stretch and stretch recovery, so if you pull it over the shoulders and the shoulders are, say, wider than the waist, then it should recover in at the waist. I can't give you measurements for this because of course your mannequin will be custom fit for you, but you just need to cut out 2 rectangles and you can just start to keep skimming in a seam line, taking it in and out wherever you need it. You can make it a little bit bigger than your actual dress form size, and then you can overlock around the bottom or pin it up inside the bottom of your mannequin, depends what style it is. I've got the cover on now, went carefully so I didn't stab myself, and this is much more, when I look at it I can see more the proportions of myself. Nothing's permanent here. It's taken me about an hour to do this. I can take off the cover, I can change any components or parts in there, I can add to it, I can take it away, I can distribute some of the proportions. So it's a good cost-friendly way of making sure that you can keep your dress form for a long while and you won't have to worry about switching up or getting a different size. There's a few other final measurements that you might want to add. So I'm going to add my shoulder to waist measurement. Remember I had a pin in there earlier, did take it out. I'm going to put a piece of elastic around, and just to stop it moving I'm going to pin it in place. You can add as many markings as you want now, so you can add as many guide tapes as you like. If you want to put a tape from neck out to shoulder, you can even decide where you want to put it depending on where your straight shoulder point is. You can put whatever you want on here. You can put your apex, you can put your upper bust, your under bust. You can have parallel lines going down the side. That might help if you're making trousers. Just see there, look, got my cover a little bit twisted, so this seam line down here is no way a guide for the side seam. So I might want to add some strips of tape or some strips of ribbon to show me where my side seam is. Sometimes you won't know if your mannequin has worked until you've made a couple of garments, but you'll have quite a good representation where you can hold up your pattern pieces to it and you can sort of generally see, will I be needing to do any grading or changing up or down of pattern sizes. Having a dress form or padding out your own mannequin is no substitution for continuing to try on your garment throughout the making process. That is the most accurate way you will get the best fit. If you would like to check out an adjustable dress form, then you can do that on our website. If you use adjust O form, or one word, then that will bring up all of the adjust form dress forms on the website and you can compare one to the other. They do come in different size ranges. For those of you who like to ask, this is the Victoria blouse that I've been wearing today. Really nice, easy breezy, easy for moving around in. It's got a pleat at the centre front, and this one is viscose jersey. It's made from Minerva's exclusive print called Pandora's Box. If you have been having a go at this, we would love to know how you got on, and we'd also like to know if you did it a different way, what packaging you used, what wadding you used, how you attach things to your dress mannequin. It really is of interest because there's not just one way to do this. You can make a free account over at Minerva, so you can share your makes there and give a little description or share some photographs of your latest make. Thank you very much for watching, and do call back to the Minerva YouTube channel to check out some more of our stuff.